welcome to the Explainer. Today we're diving into something absolutely foundational. Think about it for a second. Every single device we use, it's essentially just a very expensive brick without the network connecting it to the rest of the world. Your smartphone, your laptop, those massive cloud servers processing our payments, literally none of them work in isolation. They only work because someone built, configured, and troubleshot the network carrying all that data. So today, we're going to look at exactly how you can become that someone. We're mastering the source material on the CompTIA Network Plus N10-009 certification and figuring out how to map out a truly solid career in IT. To respect your time and give you the most efficient learning path possible, here is our roadmap for today's Explainer. First, the invisible network backbone. Then, real jobs and real money. Third, decoding the N10-009 exam. Fourth, meet your AI mentor. And finally, your path forward. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The invisible network backbone, the foundation of IT. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever just sat there staring at a buffering screen, frustrated, asking yourself, why on earth is my Wi-Fi so slow? Or maybe you've kind of wondered how a VPN actually manages to keep your data secure. Well, if you have, you already have exactly what it takes to start this journey. You absolutely do not need to have configured some complex Cisco router or, crimped copper cables to get going here. All you really need is logical thinking and a basic everyday curiosity about how things connect. That simple curiosity, it's the perfect starting point for a career in networking engineering. So when we look at the whole IT certification landscape, it really helps to see exactly where Network Plus fits in. On one side, you have A+, which basically proves you understand how computers work, right? And on the other side, you have Security Plus, proving you know how to protect those computers. Now, the crucial point here is that Network Plus sits right smack in the middle. It's the bridge. It proves you know how data actually moves. We're talking everything from the physical copper cables carrying electrical signals all the way up to the routing protocols choosing the absolute best data paths across entire continents. It's wild. Whether you want to go into cybersecurity, cloud engineering, or systems administration, this knowledge right here is your required foundation. Moving on to Section 2. Real jobs, real money. Tangible career payoffs. Now let's talk about the payoff, because these aren't just abstract titles we're throwing around. These are highly active roles across literally every industry. Healthcare, finance, education, manufacturing, you name it. You could be a network technician, out there pulling cable and configuring VLANs. Or junior network admin, keeping a close eye on uptime. Maybe you're a NOC analyst, watching the big dashboards at a major ISP. Or even that Tier 2 help desk hero, swooping in to solve the complex problems that Tier 1 just can't figure out. Basically, every organization out there with more than 50 employees needs someone who understands these concepts. And guess what? These job descriptions explicitly state Network Plus preferred or Network Plus required. And the financial payoff is very, very real. To put that into perspective, while entry-level network technicians typically start around $65,000, Network Plus certified professionals can actually earn up to $85,000. Of course, that depends on your specific role, your location, and experience, but for instance, junior network admins often land around $80,000, and NOC analysts at major enterprises are sitting comfortably right around $75,000. And unlike a lot of other entry-level IT roles, the demand here is only going up. Every single new technology we invent, cloud computing, IoT, 5G, AI, it all just creates way more network complexity, which means they need you now more than ever. All right, Section 3, decoding the N10-009 exam breakdown. Let's look at the hard data for the actual exam so you're perfectly prepared for test day. You're going to face up to 90 questions, and you have exactly 90 minutes to knock them out. So yeah, it's a sprint for sure. The format includes your standard multiple choice, but it also throws in PBQs, performance-based questions. This is where you actually have to configure or troubleshoot stuff in a simulated environment. You'll need a score of 720 out of 900 to pass. And just for context, as of 2026, the exam costs $369. You can take it in person at a Pearson VUE test center or just do it online with a proctor. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where you need to focus your study efforts. The exam is chopped up into 5 weighted domains based on what actually matters on the job. Network troubleshooting is the biggest slice of the pie, coming in at 24%. Then you've got networking concepts at 23%. That's your theoretical foundation, things like the OSI model or calculating IP4 subnets. Network implementation sits at 20%, covering how to build real networks with routing and switching.
Network operations is 19%, focusing on keeping everything running smoothly with monitoring and disaster recovery. And finally, network security makes up the last 14%, focusing on protecting that infrastructure using encryption and defense techniques.
Now, all of this builds into the absolute most critical part of the exam, network troubleshooting. The test strictly evaluates your ability to systematically isolate a fault, and it uses a 6-part methodology to do it. Ready? First, identify the problem. Second, theorize a probable cause. Third, test that theory. Fourth, implement a solution. Fifth, verify full system functionality. And finally, document your findings, actions, and outcomes. Make no mistake, this isn't just academic theory. This is literally what you'll be doing every single day on the job. Because let me be super clear here, the test goes way beyond simple trivia. You're not just going to get asked, hey, what layer does a switch operate at? No way. Instead, you're going to see complex, real-world scenarios. For example, a user has intermittent connectivity. Pings succeed, but trace routes fail at hop 3, and a switch port is showing incrementing CRC errors. What is the cause? The exam demands that you connect your physical layer knowledge right back to that 6-step methodology so you can make the correct diagnostic decision, all under intense time pressure. It's a real brain workout. Next up, Section 4, Meet Your AI Mentor. Learn with Ari. Now let's talk about the how. Meet Ari, an innovative AI tool that is completely different from any static textbook. Imagine you're configuring a new VLAN for the accounting department. You plug the users in, but nothing. Zero connectivity. You try to reason through it, and then Ari chimes in and explains exactly why it failed, telling you, you forgot to add VLAN 40 to the trunk allowed list. I like to call this the 2 a.m. rule. It is infinitely better to make a configuration mistake in a totally safe lab environment with Ari than to make it on a live production network at 2 a.m. while the entire company is offline, right? But Ari isn't just sitting there grading you, it's an adaptive learning AI. It actually tracks your progress and notices your specific weaknesses. For example, it tracks if you're getting confused by spanning tree protocol port states, blocking versus learning versus forwarding. It'll notice if you're a rock star at IP addressing, but maybe a little weak on wireless channel overlap. And it teaches you subnetting through practical, hands-on repetition, feeding you worked scenarios until identifying a /22 subnet feels just as natural as a /24 subnet. It's like having a personal tutor right there with you. Finally, Section 5, Your Path Forward. Zero barriers to entry. Okay, one huge thing you need to know before you jump in. CompTIA actually has 0 formal prerequisites for taking the Network Plus. You do not need to take A+ first. Now sure, CompTIA recommends having 9 to 12 months of networking experience, but highly motivated self-studiers pass this exam without that experience all the time. Honestly, as long as you have basic computer literacy, like knowing what an operating system is or how to pop open a command prompt, and a genuine curiosity to learn, you are completely ready for this. And this brings us to a really powerful mission statement from the AI Bridge Foundation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. They believe that networking careers shouldn't require $2,000 in prep costs before you earn $1. And it's so true, because often in IT, you see boot camps charging $3,000, self-study courses running $500, and even practice exams costing $100. That is just incredibly prohibitive for someone simply trying to break into the industry. But here is the absolute best, most helpful twist. The AI Bridge Foundation built this adaptive, AI-powered prep course to be completely free. We're talking $0. Literally. There are no sneaky paywalls, and there are no hidden upsells. It is adaptive learning that meets you exactly where you are, whether you've been messing around with network switches for a year, or you literally just decided yesterday that a career in IT networking sounds kind of cool. Ultimately, earning your Network Plus credential is your definitive proof to employers that you have what it takes to build, manage, monitor, and troubleshoot modern networks. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Are you ready to build the invisible infrastructure the world depends on? The tools are completely free, the knowledge is clearly mapped out, and the career on the other side is 100% yours for the taking. Go start learning, keep the world connected, and I will catch you in the next explainer.